Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, we're all in the spirit, so I will stick with it. Thank you for the good work you do, and I recognize the challenges you face, and we face them along with you. Before I ask my question, I do want to say I wore out my dancing shoes, too, on Friday night at one of my local high schools at their mini-thon, where they raised $56,000 in a high school. So I was listening to the numbers from earlier and see where we've gone, and we had 3 or 4 families there, sharing with these students directly what benefits there are from their efforts. Talk about building leaders. They're stepping out of their comfort zone totally to help somebody else. So hopefully we continue to generate that kind of energy. Talking about the challenges, I can't help but think of the healthcare challenges. I look at your academic research centers, and 3 of the 4 of you are very much into that. Certainly the Penn State Hershey Medical Center in my area, where I am very directly involved. Several years ago, some funding was taken out of the Department of Welfare rather than directly from the education budget lines and put into those academic medical center lines for some of what you do, some of that critical work. If you can tell me, and there's some increase included in the governor's budget this year, I think it's 1.7% increase, which I thought was interesting and good. But we need to hear from you, either very briefly out of the 3 of you or in writing. What kind of impact have you seen that make? I'd really like to know that specifically. And then what do you anticipate doing, or the impact of that increase? You can handle that any way you want. If you want to just briefly answer and then supply specifics, I'll be happy with that.
Well, and maybe we should do that, but I should say that initially the transfer of those dollars from the Department of Education to the Department of Welfare was not intended to increase the flow of dollars to the universities or their medical centers. Instead, it was designed to capture a federal match so that the Commonwealth could provide a stable amount of funding with 50% of the investment. And of course, those dollars were dollars that were hit hard 2 years ago. So if there is a slight increase this year, I would say that we're still to a point then of climbing back to where we once were.
Anybody else?
I think Marcus captured it well.
Thank you, and that clarifies it for me as well. Appreciate that.